Hey everyone, my name's Randall, and I just wanted to hop on and talk to you about an amazing show that I just got the opportunity to see a while back, and it was the Wallace Theater's production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I will be completely honest with you and tell you that this was not a show that I was really looking forward to because I thought, oh, I've seen the movie, it's not my favorite. Disney shows are hit and miss for me, so I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I just thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. I like this theater company, I like what they do, and so I wanna see what's gonna happen. I have to tell you, I was blown away. This was an amazing show. The choreography, the acting, the singing was incredible. I have so many things that I want to talk about with this show, so I will try to keep it brief, but no promises. You know I like to talk. The first thing I want to talk to you about today is Chase Gibson's performance as Frollo. Normally when you think about Hunchback, you think about Quasimodo and Esmeralda and all of the things that they do and the adventures that they go on, but man, Chase brought a level of empathy and compassion to this role that everyone else always thinks of as so evil, and he was. I actually got to see this show twice, once from the cheap seats in the back and then once from the VIP tables at the front, so I was like in their faces for a lot of that show, and seeing him so up close and seeing his face and the emotion that he brings to that character was so impressive to me because he just embodied that weird religious but family, and like you felt the devotion to his brother, but you also felt the disgust that he felt for Quasimodo. It was so interesting to see how he did that and how you could feel all those different conflicting emotions, and his character arc was just so incredible from the beginning all the way to the end, where even his death scene, when they mirrored it with how Esmeralda also died, I'll get to that in a minute, that was a lot, was just, it was spot on. And the first time I saw it, I just thought, he's so evil, I hate him, oh my gosh. But then the second time I watched it, I went, oh, okay, I see you, Frollo. I see you, I know what you're doing. It was fantastic. He was actually nominated for a Broadway World Best Actor award, and he deserved every honor that he got for that show. The set design by Zach Gowen and Daniel Hogan was just incredible. These giant 2-story tall archways where the statues would sing and people would come running in and out, and they would throw banners from the top, and then when the building caught on fire, they had red banners flying all across them and wind machines and smoke machines, and it was technically beautiful. The lights, the sound, the set, it was technically wonderful. One of my favorite things that the Wallace does in all of their shows, but especially in Hunchback, is how immersive they are. And they like to take the audience and really wrap you in this story. That's why they have their VIP seats down at the front and the actors get in there. I had some of the people stealing food off of my table. It was just so much fun. But my favorite thing they did was when Quasimodo and Esmeralda sang at the top of the world. Those actors actually climbed up into the catwalk above the audience, and they had it lit. And so you look up, and like Quasimodo and Esmeralda are right up here looking down over the audience and looking down onto the set, and they're singing on the top of the world. And it was just gorgeous, these moments that they had. And then back behind the set, up above them, all the gargoyles were there, and they were singing, and they were chiming in, and they were chanting. And it was just sound and lights and energy just coming from everywhere around you. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen done in a show, and I loved it so much. Going back to Chase, when he sang Hellfire, this is a credit to director Anna Hogan and the crazy things that she comes up with in her head to make these things happen. Claude is standing in the church, which is the big blank area in the middle of the stage, and you see all of these chorus members standing veiled. You can't see them, you just see shapes, and they're all standing as the saints. And he goes and he stands in front of what you think is the Virgin Mary, and he is singing about how he feels about Esmeralda, and you're already kind of getting that I don't like this in the pit of your stomach and in your chest. And then all of a sudden, that figure starts moving and just pulls the veil off, and it's Esmeralda, and she does what I can only describe as a Salome Dance of the Seven Veils type thing, while Frollo is rolling around on the ground singing Hellfire and talking about how he's going to go to hell for having lustful thoughts about a gypsy woman, and the gypsy woman is dancing on top of him. I felt so dirty, but oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was such a brilliant moment in staging and in concept, and I loved it. That is not a moment that you are going to see in the Disney movie. That is why I would say that Hunchback is not a kid's show. Yes, there are moments that are fun. There are singing gargoyles. There are all these things, but ooh, Hunchback gets dark. I loved the final moment when, sadly, spoiler alert, everyone dies. Again, not in the Disney movie. This is the musical. When Frollo dies, he's up at the top of the stage that they had. They had a 2-story scaffolding and steps that came down the front. I'm using my hands a lot. I hope you followed all of that. I might do the Macarena in a minute. I don't know. Go with me, friends. So he's up at the top, and when he dies, he falls down backwards and is just flailing his arms, and all of the gargoyles are there underneath him, and they catch him and bring him down to the floor and then lay him down, and he lays there dead until he gets carried off. Then you get to the end of the show and Esmeralda dies, and there's always been that contrast of he's the holy man, she's the gypsy, he's the preacher, he's this, the good, the bad, this one's good, this one's bad, no, this one's good, this one's bad. All of that happens. And then when Esmeralda dies, she dies up at the top in the bell tower, and she takes the same path down that Frollo took with the gargoyles there, but instead she stands up, the gargoyles put a white robe around her, and then walk her down in hand down to the steps. So you see this very cool, I guess juxtaposition is the word you would use, of the holy man falling to his death in a very dramatic, terrible way, and then the woman who is the outcast, the woman who has scorned her whole entire life, dying and being clothed in white and getting walked down to the pearly gates. It was beautiful. There was not a dry eye in the house. I loved it. It was a wonderful moment. Wrapping this up, I would say that Hunchback of Notre Dame is not the Disney show you expect, and not the thing you are prepared for when you go into it. But if you just let yourself be taken over by the story and the music and the direction and the wonderful acting and singing from this entire ensemble of wonderful actors, you will not be disappointed in this show. And I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you can't go watch a show like Hunchback somewhere else, look up the Wallace Theater and what they're doing. It's so cool, and their shows are amazing, and this is just another one of their amazing shows. So thank you for listening. I hope this helped. Enjoy your theater.